Hey friends and welcome. My name is Dr. Heather Cardin and I am coming to you live from Overland Park, Kansas, smack dab in the middle of the United States. Let me know where you're joining from on this very chilly Saturday. It's actually very gorgeous here in the Midwest. The trees are starting to turn yellow and gold and red and all the beautiful colors. Absolutely love how beautiful it is here on this Saturday afternoon here in Kansas. I've gotten a lot of questions the last few Facebook Lives, people who are brand new to Ask Dr. Heather, people who've been kind of hearing a little bit about my story and said, would you share a little bit more? Like, why did you choose the ketogenic lifestyle, or why would someone choose it? Could you share a little bit more kind of what you do on your normal day and why you use the ketones that you use, what MCT oil, like why grass-fed butter, and then I was going to actually talk about the top 10 things that are a must-have in your kitchen, whether you're paleo, whether you're low carb, whether you are keto, whether you're vegan, vegetarian. So I'm going to put that on hold until tomorrow, only because Pruvit's having a 22 store-wide worldwide sale. It is some of the products that I use. In our clinic, we use about 15 different companies. Most of them you actually have to be prescribed by a healthcare practitioner, but that's why I talk about Pruvit products, because you don't have to be my patient for me to actually share a referral code with you. So if you're brand new to Ask Dr. Heather, hello, Edith from Kentucky. Put a number 1 down. I always like to know who's brand new. I always assume we're all old friends. Hey, BJ, nice to see you here. And you're watching it live. This is not a replay. So I always want to know who's brand new. I started this page about 9 or 10 years ago because, you know, when you go see the doctor, there's not very much time to talk about different stuff. People come in with their headaches or low back or hormonal imbalances or allergy issues. And then I start to talk about diet and lifestyle, how to swap out this for that, how to eat low carb, how to eat keto, or how to eat zone, and there just was never enough time. So that's where I actually started my blog and my Facebook. My blog is under construction because it got hacked. Robin, nice to see you here and very welcome to Ask Dr. Heather. I also have a YouTube channel. Haven't uploaded anything for a few months, but there's a lot of great videos there. Just go over to Ask Dr. Heather on YouTube, hit playlist. You'll see things on fasting. You'll see cooking videos. Again, it's just super homemade, not very high tech, but you should get some information there. So I have been practicing alongside my husband well over 23 years. Very natural style of practicing, had all 4 of my kids naturally, no drugs, no medicine, no epidural, no C-section, all natural. And then in 2014, on my annual mother and son ski trip, I had an accident. I fell snow skiing, and I've been snow skiing for well over 40 years. So I had dabbled in the ketogenic diet. I've been teaching to my patients, or a low carb diet. I went on a ketogenic diet when I had a yeast issue after my 4th child. I thought I'd do some biohacking one time when I was training for a marathon. And I thought, well, there's some information there from some leading thought leaders, it could make you faster. So I tried a ketogenic diet then, always very low carb. Again, this is over the last 15 years. But then when I had my accident, I definitely knew I had to be on a ketogenic diet. The day before my accident, this was March of 2014, I always stayed in shape because I have 4 boys. I always wanted to play hard. I wanted to compete with them. Water ski, snow ski, whatever sport it was, I wanted to make sure I was always in shape so I could participate with them. I didn't want to be on the sidelines. I wanted to be right there on the slopes, right there in the water skiing with them. I want to be playing badminton. I want to be playing frisbee. I want to be playing tennis. Whatever the sport is, I want to be playing with them. So right before we skied, and we always went skiing in March and February and always in the fall, I always want to have super strong legs. Always was a runner growing up. So I had my biggest leg press, or my PR for leg press, a couple days before my accident. I had a low velocity accident. My ski just didn't come dislodge. It got stuck in the snow. And when I fell over, my leg did not come, or my boot did not come dislodged from the ski. So I crushed my ankle. Went to the hospital and thought, oh, just have a small fracture or big fracture, had some pins and screws and things put in, and thought, gosh, and the doctor said you probably won't be running for 9 months, but you need to be non-weight bearing for 6 weeks and then start the traditional physical therapy. So I thought, oh my gosh, you can't run for 6 weeks. I can't kickbox for 6 weeks. So I thought, you know what, this will be a great time for me to teach my patients. So I immediately went on a ketogenic diet because I knew ketones preserve your lean muscle mass. This was long before Pruvit came to market. So I went on a ketogenic diet. I was having trouble staying in ketosis. I was having a lot of pain. And within just a few weeks, I started developing tremors. I started losing some eyesight in my eye. So very suddenly after my accident, again, these things started developing. I was diagnosed with reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which is a very rare neurological disease, also called nowadays complex regional pain syndrome. There is no treatment for it. There's a lot of drugs everybody likes to try with you. Actually, my neurologist tried to get me in to see Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic has denied me 3 different times. I have had 2 spinal cord stimulators put in. So fast forward, things like water actually burns your skin. So whether it's a shower or it's rain, it would burn my skin and cause blisters and bubbles. So little things like that. But I knew I had to be on a ketogenic diet to maintain my lean muscle mass. I know ketones inhibit some inflammatory cascade. I knew I had to use it to calm down my brain. But every time I would have my female cycle, or every time I was up all night with pain, or I was mad that I couldn't participate in life, or I was having seizures or tremors, or like couldn't control my body, I would be out of ketosis, or my ketone level would not be high enough that I had enough energy to feel good. So I got a call. It said, Pruvit has launched the first pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. So that's when I tasted the orange swirl. So the orange swirl was the first one I tasted back in 2015. The first serving raised my ketone level higher. Everything calmed down. The tremors calmed down. The twitching calmed down. Vision came back into sight. I'm not making any false claims, just letting you know what happened when my body had ketones. So that back in 2015, I had my first serving, and the only time I haven't had ketones every day is when the manufacturing plant sold out back in August when they actually went live with their website. So I'm going to do a little review of products, but talk about really, because I know so many people think it's about managing your weight, which is absolutely true. And some things people don't know. So fast forward, we tried for 5 years to save my leg, but knowing that wind, water, air, anything like that can actually burn my leg, blister my leg. I am over 50 years old, and there's a certain part when actually in a wheelchair for more than 5 years, you get some osteoporosis going on. But again, I want to teach my patients that you want to keep your upper body strong, keep your weight under control. There's things you can do. I weigh exactly the same today as I did the day that I had my accident. So that was important to me because there are things that you cannot control. When you're in a wheelchair, you cannot eat and earn your carbs or burn your carbs. There's another thing, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but I want to say hello to Judy from Anchorage and hello to Rebecca from Northern Ireland. When you are an above knee amputee, and I had my leg amputated above my knee last April, that when you are an above knee amputee, and this is my prosthesis, when you're above knee amputee, I don't have my liner on, you can't even gain 2 or 3 pounds. 2 or 3 pounds, your leg does not fit in your prosthesis, because if you gain weight in your legs, like a lot of women do, 2 or 3 pounds around here, you can't get your leg on and you are not walking. Or, I don't, again, have my liner on, so I want to just show you guys that because people don't understand what that means. Or again, I've got my cute little pink wheelchair here. Or if you actually gain weight, you can't fit in your wheelchair. You think they're all like they're custom made, most wheelchairs are. So they're custom made for your size because you want to make sure you can get in and out of doors. So I want to run through just some things that I do and the Pruvit products that I use, because again, you don't have to be a patient of mine. I can give you a referral code, but I do drink ketones every day. When I start to feel my body feeling a little bit funny, I feel some tremors coming on, I feel like my eyes kind of wobbling, or I feel like my energy is just going down, or I get the yawns, that's when I know I need ketones. So that's why I'm always drinking them when I'm talking with you. But we will talk about the basics that you need for your kitchen, whether you're making a transition to this way of eating, or you're going low carb, or just trying to get it cleaned up. We're going to talk about that list tomorrow, so make sure you have a pen and paper tomorrow. So I started back in 2015. I've never stopped drinking them, but as I've had more products come out, I've substituted for their products from other products. So I used to use a different electrolyte. Electrolytes are essential for survival. We know that each and every one of our cells needs electrolytes: sodium, potassium, manganese, magnesium. Oftentimes people say, I'm taking an electrolyte and it's just potassium, or I'm taking this fuzzy stuff that's an electrolyte and it says dextrose or sucralose. There are about 120 different names for sugar. You can actually look at Google and say different names for sugar, and they're mostly just sugar. So they give you a little bit of a boost because that's the sugar, and then it drops back down. Hello, Robin. Thanks for joining. Good to see you here. And Melissa, also good to see you here. I never want to miss anybody, but hello to everybody. So I love these electrolytes, and I had a great conversation with a patient this week about that, because they said, oh my gosh, those are a little bit pricier than what I've been using. But I looked at their food diary and I saw that, gosh, where you're drinking this coconut water thing and you're drinking this ice thing and you're drinking this other thing, and knowing that those are, I looked at, they're over $1.20 a piece in the US. I'm thinking, okay, well, the Minoplex, if you're looking at that, and today they're 22% off, they're actually under $1. They're actually gonna be cheaper than when you go get a drink at Quick Trip or at Sonic or at McDonald's or whatever you're doing. And those are not healthy for you, where these are actually highly healthy. The reason I like them is because they have the creatinine monophosphate. Creatinine is really important for absorption for nutrients, for your kidney to actually absorb those nutrients. Plus it has vitamin D. We know people have a high sugar diet. You can get something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Vitamin D is metabolized in the liver. And just a sidebar, I have my really good friend, Colorful Dory. If you're not following her, please follow her. That 20 some years ago, when we were having patients take vitamin D and take fish oil, they were saying, oh my gosh. And the other doctors were saying, don't have people take fish oils. They're fatty soluble. They're going to build up in their body. They're going to make their body sick. Please don't take a fish oil. Don't take vitamin D. They're fat soluble. Fat soluble things build up in your body. Water soluble things dump out of the body. Now everybody, I mean, a lot of leading physicians are making their own, especially cardiologists, making their own fish oils. They're making their own vitamin D, adding vitamin K, which is also fat soluble in that. You're going to see the same thing with ketones, because there's a lot of people saying, gosh, I wouldn't supplement with that, but I'm going to tell you, it's so important for your brain. It's so important for your body, and you don't have to be on a ketogenic diet. It's an amazing tool to help control your sugar cravings, help get you sleeping better, help with digestion, help your brain function, and we should be worried about broken brains. So I love the hashtags going around about mental health matters, because ketones, what they do is they actually increase GABA, which is our happy hormone. It actually stimulates things like serotonin and dopamine. It does so much more than fat loss. We know that when you actually are at a better weight, you do feel better about yourself. And when you have more energy, you're going to get moving, which secondarily makes you feel better about yourself. Back at my electrolytes. Before Pruvit had electrolytes, I used a different one, but now that we have these electrolytes, and this is just green for lime, thanks for asking. So they do come in different flavors, but you can also, you can add a drop or two of put a pinch of mint in here if you want to, if you're a mint leaf, if you want to do that. Some people do some essential oils with that as well. But just know, sorry, I'm looking at the questions here. BJ did purchase a bundle as well as I did. So I'm reading Renee here. So Renee from Las Vegas is a friend of Frank Preve and Debbie. Frank is a good friend of mine. Our kids played hockey together. And her husband Jerry is a baloney amputee. So I'm not for sure if there's a question there, Renee, or not. So, anyway, getting back, I just want to run through, I don't want to lose anybody, so stay there. So these electrolytes are different than some that you buy, because most of them will have sugar in them, and they don't have the blend of electrolytes that you need. One of the other things, when I would teach fasting, and I would call it the Keto Fast Blast, or we would have people do intermittent fasting, and bone broth, which I call God's Gatorade, is super important for that because it has so many electrolytes in there. Pruvit actually then launched a broth in many different flavors. I happen to love the French onion, and I also like to whisk an egg white in there, or a whole egg. We just got some organic duck eggs from one of our patients, duck eggs and chicken eggs. So you can whisk those in there, and you can also put some greens in there as well. But this is a bone broth that's infused with beta hydroxybutyrate, the ketone body beta hydroxybutyrate, plus it has some other amino acids in there. So it's great to have, again, on any lifestyle, whether you're low carb, whether you're keto, whether you're vegan. It's something comforting to have at night when you want something savory. Also love it in the morning as something just different to have, or if you're having a soup and salad, again, you can have it anytime. Don't have to be on a ketogenic diet to have a high quality soup at any time. You can have, the curry is actually good cold if you want more of a gazpacho. Some people like to have the curry and mix it in with like a squash soup as well. So you can mix and match those cold or hot, but I do like it because it does have collagen in it. And that's one of the big things when you make your own bone broth and you boil down the chicken feet. Some people don't like to buy chicken feet and boil them down and look at them, or buy the oxtail or things like that, or pig ears or pig hocks, things like that. Now you can actually buy them in a package, or you don't have time to do the cooking or don't have the knowledge to do that or the instruments to do that. Now you can buy it on the go and simply just pour that in there. Yes, Edith, I just whisk in a raw egg in there and have it at not at a boiling point, just at a warm point. Just like you make an egg drop soup, you just whisk the egg and then you pour it in slowly as you whisk the egg that's already mixed in there, and it will let you just harden in there with it. And so you can do that just as well, because, you know, if you have an organic egg, the yellow part of the egg, because the egg is a perfect protein. We'll talk more about that because that's on my what to have in your cupboard. So that's another amazing product. And then MCT oil. We know the word bulletproof came out when Dave Asbury really launched his diet. But when we talk about some of the MCT oils by some of the other companies, not just his, they're mostly C8. That means there's 8 carbons in a row, which is a short chain or medium chain fatty acid. The liver takes that. You don't need the gallbladder salts or things like that. The liver will take that and make energy out of it. This is Dr. Mary Newport's work of almost 15 plus years. This has C8 plus C10 plus C12 plus C12, 14 plus C16 in there. So it has all the short, medium chain plus the long chain carbons, so your body can keep on making energy. You can make that quick energy or that medium energy plus that long-term energy, because it has the very specific blend of the carbons in there for that energy that your liver can turn into additional ketones. There's no ketones in this, but it's an MCT oil, not just C8, again, which you'll find a lot of products out there that I was using before as well, but now I use this, and a half a teaspoon's a serving. So this is about 6 servings. And then it also has monolaurin. You'll hear a lot about monolaurin these days because it's an antiviral, antiparasitic, and antifungal. So it's very commonly used in people who have Lyme's disease, people who have Epstein-Barr. But now that we know there's some viruses going around in a pandemic, people are using a lot more lauricidin or monolaurin. It's great to have every day, but you know, monolaurin and lauric acid is C12. That's what makes coconut oil hard. So if you are using coconut oil, make sure you're using organic coconut oil that's extra virgin. That's a hard coconut oil that you buy at the store. And then it also has something called phosphatidylcholine. So if you remember back in biology class, you used to make that cell wall that had like the sticks with a little ball on top that made the cell wall. That's that phosphatidylcholine that lines each and every cell in our body. That's what makes a cell wall nice and strong. Well, this actually happens to have phosphatidylcholine in there, which actually makes each cell wall strong. Plus you get the energy from all the different carbons, the C8, the C10, the C12, the C14, and C16, and then you get the protection from the lauric acid. So it's not just any MCT oil, it's actually a bonus MCT oil with a lot of amazing things in there. Then Pruvit came out because people were trying to get a keto protein. So when you talk about a replacement shake like a keto protein, you're going to get something that has a lot of high fat in there with 40 or 50 grams of fat in there. And it's going to be a lot of calories, like 400 plus calories oftentimes. What Pruvit did is they made a ketone infused protein. So this is infused with some protein. It has ketones, so it's a little bit less than the NAT. However, it has that MCT we talked about earlier that your liver will take and turn it into additional ketones. So it'll take that and make the original beta hydroxybutyrate plus the MCTs to make additional ketones. And then it has the additional protein, and they're very, very ketone friendly proteins that are vegan. We have this in 4 different flavors. So you can either get vegan or vegetarian, or you can get it with a milk-based protein. Again, in 4 different flavors, we have that in. So 2 choices, banana or dark chocolate for a vegan or vegetarian. And then if you're okay with dairy, we have an orange swirl, a chocolate swirl. And then people always ask me, this is a can, so this would be the one with dairy in it. So it's the orange or the chocolate swirl. That's a can, and then you're going to get it with a banana or dark chocolate here. And these always have it. When you look at the NAT, they're going to have some sodium in it. They're going to have B6. They're going to have B12, a little calcium, a little magnesium. All those help the absorption of the beta hydroxybutyrate. And we hear all the time people are losing fat, or they start losing some inches from the ketones. That's because the ketone has amazing affinity for pulling toxins out of our fat cells. And as you want to have that happen, it doesn't just pull fat out of the tox cells, because our fat fat cells have about 170 different hormones in there. So as you're pulling stuff out, just think if you have a bad spot on a tomato, you're going to cut out that bad spot. You're also going to cut out a little bit of the good spot. So as your body's losing some of the unwanted toxins in your body, if you're intermittent fasting, this happens with autophagy. Your body's normally just detoxing things out. Your body's always detoxing. It's a normal process that our body does as you take in stuff, whether you breathe it in or your skin's exposed to it. Your body's always filtering things out that you eat, whether it's a red dye in something of your food, again, or you breathe it in or your skin exposed to it or something. It also ends up losing some essential things like some sodium or some B vitamins, which are water soluble, or some calcium or magnesium. Anytime you eat carbohydrates, your body uses B vitamins, it uses magnesium. Sometimes our stomach acid is off. It's either too high because we're used to eating fried foods and things like that our body has adapted and pH is off. We end up losing very essential electrolytes. That's why electrolytes are important, especially if you find yourself losing some unwanted fat pounds you want to go away, or again, those toxins are removing from your body, then we want to make sure we're replacing those. That's why you're going to see the ketones aren't just ketones. They're going to have those additional nutrients in there and additional sodium in there to help replace what is lost, not to be part of your RDA, but was just lost by consuming the ketones. So I think I've covered everything except for the keto cream, which I might not have brought here with me. We have something else called, I don't have one here. So the ketones do come with or without caffeine. If they have a white package like this, they're going to be an uncharged one without caffeine. If they have a dark colored package, like the Swiss cacao, it's dark instead of a light color, it means they're with caffeine. And we know caffeine or coffee is actually, or either it can be from a green coffee bean or a dark coffee bean. Caffeine is a normal herb found in nature. It has a lot of amazing health benefits when it's done in the right ratio and it's combined with a proper combination. Not when it's done in excess or it's over filtered or it's over processed and it's not organic. So we know that caffeine has a lot of amazing health benefits. It can actually increase the uptake of the beta hydroxybutyrate into your body so you get a quicker uptake of being in ketosis and have a longer experience. But if you know that you're caffeine sensitive, then just simply choose a one uncharged. So I will do the uncharged one before bedtime because we know there's so many amazing benefits of having your brain in ketosis while you're going to sleep. It helps you get to that deeper sleep much quicker and stay there much longer. When your sleep is interrupted, like you're not getting at least 4+ hours of sleep in a row, there's a lot of different neuropeptides that are turned on. There's some different hunger hormones that are turned on. Your cortisol is disrupted. So getting that proper sleep is super, super important. That's where having more healthy fats, think of that baby or the kiddo that wants to have that fat snack before they go to bed. That's another reason to use the MCT, especially if you're trying to get more fat adapted and you want to have lower calories but have all the benefits of the healthy fats. This is an amazing option. The same thing with our keto cream, which is our functional fat. It's not only for coffee, it's an amazing boost of healthy fats. It's super, super nutrient dense. It has 3 different MCTs. It has 4 different strands of collagen. Collagen is not only for the integrity of our skin or elasticity, especially if your body's losing some unwanted fat, or and then when I say that unwanted fat means you have fat on your body that you don't want. So you're losing some fat that you no longer want on your body or do not need because your body's used it for energy and you want that skin to attract in. Or as we start to age, we want to make sure we have enough elasticity in our skin and lose some of those dark spots in our skin. Also, our joint mobility and flexibility is also super, super important. Whether you were an athlete growing up or you had a car wreck or just, really treated your body misbehaved. Maybe you were a construction worker growing up or something like that where your body's been through a lot of different physical injuries. Even just talking to the person who did my hair, I mean, she's on her feet all the time and thinking how much she has to use her arms and shoulders and feet. So whatever your job is, or a teacher who's bent over children all day long for years upon years, whatever your job is, your body's always being used physically and not always getting the release that it needs. So collagen can help your joints, your muscles, your bones, elasticity, to help hold your organs up, to help hold your eyes in place, to help the elasticity of your skin. It also has Ceylon cinnamon in it, which is a patent blend, which which helps with digestion. It helps with blood sugar. It's a great antioxidant. Plus we have something called C-Med, which is a patent blend as well, which helps with anti-aging and protect your DNA as you age. So it's an amazing blend you can have. You can use it in a nut milk smoothie. You can put it in coffee. You can put it in tea. You can sprinkle it on a crepe. You can put it in a whipped topping if you want to do that. We have a bunch of different recipes that you can use it in. So you can use it in a mug cake if you want to. So it's not just for coffee. I do like coffee, so I do like to have it in my coffee or in my tea in the morning. And it's a great way to get those healthy fats in, especially when you're sleeping at night and you're not eating. You wake up, you don't want to put 100 calories of oatmeal in there, or 100 calories of a banana in there, because that's just like throwing lighter fluid on a fire that's been out all night long. It doesn't do anything because it's just going to overflood it. It's kind of like overflooding a car if you're putting too much gas in that starter. So you want to start that morning with some healthy fat. Water first, because you haven't had any water yet. So wake up and have water, then have that fat, whether it's sauteed greens with some grass-fed butter. And the reason we have grass-fed butter, or we'll talk more about that, is the gamma-linolenic acid, which is so important for inflammation and joints. Again, tomorrow we'll talk about those basic needs for your refrigerator, freezer as you make that transition after you throw all the garbage out. But I did want to just take a nice review of what the products are, because people are like, where do I get started? Well, you get started first by just drinking the ketones. And then again, if you're a coffee person and you know you drink coffee every day and you're putting some other type of creamer in there, some other type of sugar in there, then you want to get the keto creamer, the functional fat. And then if you're using the ketones for fat loss, or fat loss and changing your way of eating is really a goal of yours, and you're determined and you know you've done this before, you've tried dieting and you lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, you need those electrolytes, because electrolytes are going to replace what is lost through just a normal process of losing fat. That's a great way to stop. But if you know you need something savory, again, you can always add in things later, but start very, very simply, which again is drinking ketones at least 1 to 2 a day, depending on your craving, depending on your fatigue time. Some people don't even know when they're hungry anymore. So for me, I know that 1 to 3 o'clock time is where not where my cravings hit, but where I'm just super, super tired. So I always want to make sure I've got my ketones between 1 and 3 o'clock, because that's when I want to take a nap. That's my adrenal time. So generally I want to take them then. If I don't sleep very good at night, then I take them first thing in the morning so I can get my energy level up and going for the day. If I have a great night's sleep, then I don't have them first thing in the morning. I may have them mid-morning or maybe mid-afternoon. It's kind of like, when do you drink water? When you're thirsty, when you drink ketones, when you need your energy. And most people know when they kind of have that hanger time, where they want to crave something, where they want to go to the vending machine, when they want that piece of chocolate or candy or something crunchy. Maybe you're having that glass of wine every night to go to bed. That would be a great time to have those ketones, or a thing of ice cream. That would be the great time to have that. So if you're brand new to Ask Dr. Heather, again, drop a number 1 down. I know this is always meant to be shared, always meant to be educational, meant to help you better understand what's kind of going on. There's so much stuff out there now. When we started this, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't Snapchat, there wasn't Clapper, there wasn't TikTok, there wasn't all that stuff going on. So I'm trying to learn that stuff as you are, but oftentimes it can be very, very frustrating and confusing, especially when people are going clean keto, dirty keto, processed foods. I always say, go back to the basics, eat food as it was originally grown in nature. Try not to buy prepackaged things like all this cauliflower stuff. I was at Sam's last weekend and saw cauliflower everywhere, and the macros were crazy. Like a fourth of a piece of pizza was 29 carbs, and you could get like a regular just frozen pizza, half a pizza, for the same amount of carbs. Like they're creating a lot of confusion. So just eat pizza, don't eat pizza. Just eat food as it was meant to be in nature. Have a steak, have chicken wings, have a hamburger, forget the bun. Just eat food as it becomes in nature. And then again, put a little fat on it. Make it super simple. I've got enough videos about that, how to make it super simple. Grab a protein, grab a couple cups of vegetables, and put a little healthy fat on that, whether it be olive oil or a little grass-fed butter, or put a little bacon grease on top, or drizzle some balsamic vinegar and olive oil if it's a salad, or if you want to put some pine nuts or some sunflower seeds, or it's pumpkin seed weather on it, put a little bacon bits on top. Just put a little fat on that. Again, eat when hungry, stop when full, and keep it super simple. So when you see me go KISS on a picture that I post of food that we're eating at our house, KISS means keep it super simple, or keto is meant to be super simple. So hopefully this helps clear up some information information. The last question I saw go by is that all of the ketones, no matter what flavor they are, they're all the same amount of beta hydroxybutyrate. They're all the same. The only thing I didn't mention, sorry, somebody said, is the Keto Up. There is a canned drink. So if you're worried about the sodium, the Keto Up is a free cell fermented ketone. Normally we drink the ketones. Our body has a normal fermentation process of everything that we eat. We have launched a technology that actually is already fermented for you. This has a very, very, very low amount of sodium, as in 0. It has potassium, sorry, I'm reading it here. It has potassium, it has 3 total carbs, has B6, it has some vitamin C, has vitamin B12, has again a little bit of potassium in there, it has a beta hydroxybutyrate. So if you're worried about the sodium level, you want to do the ups. I love the apple. It's super nice and tart, but if the fizz is too much for you, open it up a couple hours before you drink it and let the fizz out. But that's always an option if you're worried about the sodium. So we've done an amazing job engineering the ketones. Not we as a company have done an amazing job engineering the ketones. We are a global company now, which is super excited. So Anne Marie, yes, you can get them in Ireland. If you need help getting them, please let me know. Melissa, thank you so much for sharing the link. I sincerely appreciate that. You do need a referral code to order these. That's what's so exciting. So you do need a referral code. So get a referral code if you need one, and we can help you get those delivered to your house. And right now they are 22% off right now when you order them between today and tomorrow worldwide. Oftentimes they are limited in different countries for different sales, but right now for the first time ever, they've done this worldwide. I would say, somebody asked me yesterday about Amazon. I've had some patients actually get them off some third-party buyers, and they have been expired. I would never encourage someone to drink something that is expired. They have expiration dates on it for a reason. That means they actually have a half-life, which means they start to go bad or start to get less absorbed than half-time. Justin, thank you very much. We have another product called Unleashed. It's at the office. It is called Black Label Unleashed. It is our nats, but the label's all black, and it's called Unleashed, and it is 30% more ketones, 30% more B12, 30% more B6, which again gives your body a ton of energy, 30% more caffeine. It does not come without caffeine. It is a very, very uncharged, unleashed version of the ketones. So if a lot of athletes love it, endurance athletes love it, people who are transitioning from a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of sugar and a lot of caffeine, it's a great thing for people to transition to so their body doesn't miss the stimulants so much, the body can absorb it. Or people who are not caffeine sensitive. It's way too much caffeine for me. I can absolutely do 2 or 3 nats a day. I cannot do an Unleashed. I think it's just because I'm not up and as mobile as I used to be, running as much. But I think I covered the whole entire, which is amazing. We did just have the one orange. So I know I've rambled on here a little bit. Thank you, Justin, for helping me remember that. And you can buy a mixed pack. You can also just reach out if you say, I just want to try, I just want to dabble. I want to stick my toe in the water. I just want to dabble. I just want to try maybe 3 different ones. I just want to try a broth and a couple different flavors. We have a sampling system as well. I just want to maybe try 5 different flavors or try a couple of the oils and a couple of the Mitoplex, and let me see how I do. You can absolutely do that. Just reach out and we'll help you get that done. So again, this is Dr. Heather Carden coming to you live from Overland Park, Kansas. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the top 10 things you need to have in your kitchen pantry at all times to get this way of eating going for your health. Again, and just identify what those health goals are. I was chatting with someone earlier. They're getting this way of eating going. The rest of the family is not, but that's okay. As long as you know what you're doing and know what you need to have on hand, you're always going to be successful. So we will probably do that late afternoon, getting to church in the morning. My mom is coming up. Isaac's home from college, so we're going to do that stuff. And then once he gets on the road, we will get that going. So you guys have an amazing day. Thanks again for joining me. And again, always, this is meant to be shared. And I am such a coupon girl, and I love saving money. My husband laughs at me. I've always been a coupon girl. That's why I wanted to come on here and pop on and tell you guys that 22% off. So do not miss out between today and tomorrow. Have a blessed day, and we'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.